It's hump day.
Hump day!
It's hump day.
Hump day!
Hey everybody, this is Bradley Benner with Semantic Mastery. Today is Hump Day Hangouts episode 81. And we've got everybody on except for Adam. That's why I'm doing the introductions and announcements. But we'll go on down the line. Say, Chris, how you doing?
I'm excellent. How you doing?
Good, man. Hernan, how about you?
Doing good. Just missing Adam, you know.
Oh, he'll be on soon, I think. He's just rebooting. Google didn't like him today, so.
Okay.
And Marco, how you doing, Marco?
Hey, what's up, man? I'm working on giving away the farm again.
Yeah, I know. So we're going to be having another webinar about some of the stuff that we talked about to kind of build upon what we did last week with the iframe and JavaScript webinar. And we're going to be doing that on June 6th, Monday, June 6th at 3 p.m. So you guys, we'll send out notifications on how to register for the webinar for that. But once again, it'll be a free webinar. We're going to give away a lot of content. You know, Marco's been extremely generous lately with giving away stuff, so we'll see how much he gives away this time. But yeah, that'll be Monday, June 6th at 3 p.m. Guys, we'll make we'll certainly notify you guys of how to register for that webinar once we get that set up. I think Hernan's working on that in the background actually, so maybe we'll have it ready for today.
Mm-hmm.
Adam, now that you're here, how you doing, man?
Oh, hey everybody! Welcome to Hump Day Hangouts, episode 80. No, just kidding. All right, I don't know what happened.
You're tardy today.
I am. I don't know what happened, man. Between recording stuff on Facebook sideways and having random restarts on the computer, I'm just lucky to be here. So
maybe you should stop running in the woods beforehand.
I need a bong-like object. Not that I would have one of those, but something near here to make that sound effect, like a straw and a water bottle.
Bubbler.
Yeah, there we go. Anyways, yeah, did you guys get a chance to talk about Lisa Allen? I mentioned it on Facebook, and I wanted to bring it up here for anybody who's in the mastermind.
I have not, but now that you're here,
cool.
Take it away.
All right, well, nothing much, you guys, but our mastermind members are going to get a chance to talk to Lisa Allen. And if you don't know who she is, she's behind things like RSS Authority, was it Authority Sniper?
Yeah.
Yep, and then she's now got Rank Feeder Elite, which is going to have some pretty awesome features and does some stuff like co-citation and some just fun tricks with RSS. But she's going to be talking to our mastermind next week on Thursday. So looking forward to that. And then I mentioned it on Facebook in that quick video I did if you haven't seen that. But just talking about hopefully we're going to be able to get some information from her and probably be able to share that with a wider group. But mastermind members are getting kind of first access to that and getting to talk to her and, you know, kind of not one-on-one, but a live Q&A. So that'll be next Thursday, and then we'll hopefully be able to share some of that information.
Cool. Okay. And I don't think we really had any other announcements, did we?
Not this week. Let's roll.
Okay. Get right into questions. All right. I'm going to go ahead and grab the screen. I love the GIF that's distracting even me. All right, Paul, you guys are seeing the screen okay?
Yeah, looking good.
Yep.
All right, Paul says, hey guys, you have dumped a lot on us in the last 2 weeks. I know, Paul, I know. Thanks in part to Marco, that's what we were just talking about. I wrote my first iframe script, put it into the Google tool, and it checked out good. It works fine in Blogger and Tumblr, but not in WordPress or when it's syndicated to Twitter through IFTTT. My question, why is it not working on WordPress or Twitter? Even when I go and manually try on WordPress, it still doesn't work. By the way, the webinar on curating was great. Paul, I'm going to ask Marco to chime in on it, but honestly, without looking at it, I couldn't tell you. I have no idea what it is that you created or why it's not working. I don't really have any idea. Marco, do you know?
Yeah, because WordPress strips out the iframe.
It does?
It does.
Okay.
And
what about
so,
Twitter? Twitter does too, apparently?
Yeah, what Twitter does, since he's syndicating, it's probably all getting stripped out. And what Twitter actually shows is a picture, is an image of the map. But if you go into the source code in Twitter, you're going to see all kinds of neat stuff that Twitter does to the actual code, where it's adding cards and it's adding all kinds of structured data information to feed back to Google. So don't stop doing it. Just because you don't see it doesn't mean that you should stop doing it. Just keep feeding it. Keep feeding it data. And this is what I'm going to be talking about in the next webinar. I don't want to give it away here. But just keep feeding it data, because as long as it's structured and as long as it's in a trusted site or even a partner site, it's even better, because Google will go in and pull data right from there to feed RankBrain, to feed the knowledge graph, and a whole bunch of other things that are happening. I'm not going to give away any more right here. If you want to know more, tune in to the next Webby, and we'll deal with all this information.
There you go. So Marco was the one that answered that question, and he did an excellent job. So Paul, yeah, try to come on the June 6th webinar that we're going to do, and maybe you can get some more insight there as well. There's a question from Matt Fisher from the Facebook group. I'm going to open that up and take a look at this because I posted this earlier. This is a rather long question, and I figured I'd save it for Hump Day Hangouts. Matt says, "Hey Bradley, I'm finally about to purchase a full 2-tier done-for-you IFTTT network from you in about 2 to 3 days' time. I have a few questions though. Does it matter that you are using US IP addresses on the social profiles in the link wheel if I am trying to rank stuff in Australia?" No, Matt, it does not matter. And the reason it doesn't matter is because that's what we use to create the accounts, because most of the sales are that we, networks that we sell are for US based, and that is just how our procedures have been set up. However, once we deliver your completed network, as long as you log in from a local IP, you'll be fine. You have to do it within about 3 days of us delivering the networks, or else it can cause login issues. It can lock the account. But if you get it right away and log in, your local IP will bind and it won't cause any issues. Okay, so it doesn't make a difference. Number 2, will the network rank videos and websites, or do I have to choose if I want to rank videos or websites at the time of purchase? You have to choose at the time of purchase, one or the other, but once you get a network back, if you want to connect additional triggers to that network, you're entirely free to do whatever the hell you want. So my point is, we talk about best practices, and when we deliver your networks, we'll also send you some best practice videos as well as what's in IFTTT v2. The best practices, there's videos in there as well where I talk about that. But essentially, typically you're going to want separate networks for your YouTube channel and your website. Not always the case. It depends on how you're actually publishing content to both of them, both your YouTube channel and your blog. Because what a lot of people do is they end up publishing a video to their YouTube channel, and then they just take the video and they go embed it on their blog, as a blog post with very little. Like it's basically the same thing. It uses the same title because they're targeting the same title. I've seen that happen a lot, and what happens is if you have both your blog and your YouTube channel syndicating to the same network, then they start to look like duplicate posts, because first you syndicate the video and then you go publish the video as a post. However, you can syndicate from both YouTube channel and the blog to the same network, provided that you make the posts unique. In other words, if you're going to publish a video to your YouTube channel and let that syndicate across the network, typically you're going to optimize that YouTube video, like the title tag and everything, for an exact match keyword. You're going to optimize it for, SEO, trying to rank it. But for the blog post, if you do a more traditional style blog post or a curated blog post where there's like an actual topic that you're blogging about, instead of just targeting, like for example, the title is exact match keyword, you have a normal typical type of title, and the content isn't focused just around that video embed and nothing else, then you're free to publish that post as well. So you end up having the same video syndicate from your YouTube channel to your syndication network, right? But also from your blog to your network as an embedded video within a blog post, and that's perfectly fine. It's just what you don't want to do is just have basically duplicate posts, one from your YouTube channel and one from your blog, syndicating the same content to your network properties, because that'll get your network properties terminated. Okay. So again, just keep them separate. If you publish properly from both when you're republishing a video on your blog from your YouTube channel, if they're both syndicating the same network, just keep those guidelines in mind. Okay. Otherwise, create separate networks. One for your YouTube channel, which would be basically a persona-based network, and the branded network would go around your associated website at that point. All right, so hopefully that makes sense. He says, I have a reputation management company that I'd like to rank, but I also want to rank lots of client websites and videos too for various niches. Excuse me, what should I choose when buying a wheel? Or is this the real answer I need? Or is the real answer that I need multiple IFTTT wheels? Ultimately, my question is, should I be building up to buying 5 different types of link wheels? Yeah, well, remember, Matt, we try to theme the networks. So that's, as long as you're theming the network correctly, it doesn't, I'm not going to tell you need 5 networks. My standard response or answer is always going to be, yeah, just get more networks, right? That's a good answer, is just buy more networks or build more networks, whatever, because that's going to give you more power. But you know, depending on what your budget is and everything else, I'm just saying you're going to want to theme your network. So there's a few ways to theme. You can theme as based on a topic or industry, like a niche, for example. Like, let's say it's a plumbing. You know, you're doing SEO work for plumbers, right? Or yeah, we'll just use plumbers. Then you can theme your networks around like plumbing and home improvement, right? And then you could use that same network for plumbers and possibly even you know, like electricians and HVAC and landscapers and all that other kind of stuff, because that network was built around that. But and that's one way. That's like theming a network around a particular topic. There's another way to theme networks, which would be based around a particular location. So like you could theme a network to syndicate videos from, or syndicate content from, for that matter, for any local business within a particular city. Let's say Atlanta, Georgia was your city. Then you could have a network themed around that city, and then you could use that same network for any type of business. You know, it could be construction businesses, medical, dental, you know, insurance. It doesn't really matter. Anything that the common theme at that point would be the location. Okay, so it's entirely up to you as to what your strategy is. What you don't want to do is just have one like plain general network that you just throw a whole bunch of stuff into, that you publish all kinds of different industry type videos. Last thing is a little bit more advanced. You can have a more general type like YouTube channel, for example, and maybe even potentially a blog to go with it, an associated website to go with it, if you silo them properly, which means you would have categories. If it's YouTube, you'd have different playlists, and you would basically theme your playlist the way that I just mentioned, either by niche, you know, niche/topic, or by location. And the same thing with the blog. If you had an associated website that was associated with that channel, you could theme that blog with silos, categories, and, you know, subcategories potentially, and everything else. So it really, again, just totally depends on what your strategy is. You know, I like to kind of keep theme-based, topic-based networks that are themed around a particular topic or niche. Okay, I like to do that, and I like to keep them somewhat narrow and not go too broad, because I'm always worried that I might lose a channel. And if I have a broader channel that I'm covering multiple niches on, and something were to happen to that channel, I could potentially lose all that work, right? All that revenue. And as I've told you guys, you know, dozens and dozens of times, if not hundreds of times, I try to mitigate my risk by spreading my eggs across multiple baskets instead of putting them all in one. So that's why I like to create topically themed networks, and just do separate networks, separate channels and separate networks for each topic, right? It's just that way, in case anything ever happens to one of them, I still have all the other ones producing revenue for me, and I've only lost, you know, a percentage of my assets instead of all of them all at once. Okay. So again, I would personally go with theming in either topically or geographically, and build out additional networks as needed. If you want to go into different industry or target different areas, for example, I would just continue building out new channels and new networks for those. Will this help rank in the 3-packs? Yes, it can, but you have to do it properly. And if you were in the MasterClass, I don't know if you are or not, but if you're in the MasterClass, we did a local SEO case study where we used the IFTTT networks as part of ranking in the 3-packs, and we ranked that site in about 6 to 8 weeks using pretty much just those methods. Well, everything's covered in the case study, but IFTTT was a big part of that, and it's been ranked ever since. So if you're in the MasterClass, go watch that. Number 4 is he says, I own a reputation. Guys, we can't do these. Well, this wasn't on the event page, so I can't yell at him for this. It's a long-ass question, but it wasn't on the event page. I own a reputation management agency. I was very interested in what you mentioned briefly in your sales video about your new course. Please keep that in mind also when you advise which type of wheel I should purchase. I don't know what you're talking about. Will you be bringing out new IFTTT link wheels a week after I buy one from you, given that you have a new course with new methods? What is he talking about, new course? Oh, is this not? This is
not a new
group?
course. Yeah, that's the old group. He's talking about IFTTT 2.0.
Oh.
But he should also, if he's in reputation management, he should be looking at RYS Academy.
Yeah, he should be. Matt, IFTTT SEO V2, that's been out since March. So no, and all of our networks that we sell are using the new methods. Okay, so no. To answer your question number 6, they're all up to date, and that course has been out since March. Okay. Yeah, as far as reputation management, if you're doing that, you should absolutely be in ROIS because it's incredibly powerful for that. All right, so there's Matt's questions. Let's keep moving. Rob says, hey everyone, hope you're all well. Here's my question. I've been building a MyCitySEO site for a couple of months using a tier 1 network that I built that has around 15 properties, Web 2s, and socials accounts. Haven't done my own videos yet, just YouTube embeds. Starting to make my own infographics for these pages and start creating my own videos this week. I'm ranking in page 1 of Google within a week or less for every page group that I post using low to medium comp keywords. Okay, not using hosted PBNs. Yeah, okay, it says, according to HostGator stats, I'm getting around 4,000 to 6,000 visitors per month. No, that's bot visitors, Rob. That's not actual visitors. Those are bots. How can you tell real visitors from bots? Well, put something on like analytics. Marco, give me some suggestions for him for this. He's got to use some sort of analytics software other than just what's in cPanel.
Yeah, I would go with Google Analytics, man. That's my go-to tool. And then you'll start seeing the spammy sites that start sending you traffic, and you can just block those. And because Google will give you the users and then the number of times that they visited. Right? Sorry, I got a rainstorm. If you're hearing it, but you get 2 types of information from analytics. But the most valuable one, the one that you get is where your traffic is coming from, and that's when you can start blocking out the bots. There's also, you can just Google it, a list of bots that you don't want on your website, and you could just ban them through HT access.
Yeah. Also, just something that you can add if it's a WordPress site, which I'm assuming it is, if you put newstat press is a plugin, newstat STAT press on, you can monitor traffic from that, and that will give you some different filters, and you can see what kind of traffic is bots, and that kind of stuff. But I don't leave that plugin on for long because it just loads up your database over time with data. So if you're curious about it or whatever, you can turn it on, but I just wouldn't leave it on long term. That's all I'm saying.
Sorry, Bradley, but just to chime in on this, I think that Google Analytics is getting better and better on filtering out those spammy visitors because they will actually skew, well, the same issue that we all have. It has been growing as a really big issue when it comes to analytics. And I think they are getting better actually on filtering them out without we having to actually add any more filters, etc. But I think there was a service, right, from the guy's side.
Yeah, that's what that's why I paused my screen. I'm opening it up right now.
Oh, okay, yeah.
All right, here we go. I'm gonna grab it right now, guys. This is a referral spam filter that Loganix. The guys Adam Steele from Adam Steele and the guys from Loganix, they are the ones that set this up, and they maintain it. They're always updating it. I get emails about once every 2 to 4 weeks from them with an updated referral spam segment filter. So here is the spam filter. This is directly from them, and like I said, they constantly are updating this. All you need to do is opt in, and then they'll send them directly to your email that you opt in with every time they update it, and you can use that. It just imports. It's like a one-click solution. You click it, and it automatically opens up your analytics account. Just be sure you're logged in. You're using the same browser, and it will automatically apply these filters to your analytics account. It'll allow you to select which properties you want to apply it to, but I just say all properties. So check that out. Okay, how can I push the boundaries and start crushing it? I noticed that it's easier to rank each new page's group. Should I be going after more competitive keywords, or what are your thoughts? Yeah, you can, Rob. If you want to go after more competitive keywords, do it. And then what you can do is use those keyword sets that you're creating, which you're calling groups here, as supporting type keywords. So go for the broader keywords. If you've got your site siloed properly, you should be able to basically piggyback off the momentum of those longer tail keywords, the ones that are lower competition, giving you results as quickly as you are. If you have your site structured properly, then you can go after the more broader, more wider competitive terms and use those quick results that you're getting to push those in the SERPs as well. So it's all about your silo structure there. But if you're having some really good results doing what you're doing, keep doing that. But yeah, you can start to target the more competitive keywords and use your internal linking structure and everything. Even if you, I don't know where you are with your site and what your site structure looks like, but even if you didn't have a real good silo structure originally, you can go back and use the virtual silo method to accomplish what it is that I'm talking about without having to go in and change a bunch of URLs, URL structures and everything else. So that's a bit more advanced, Rob. That's something that we could cover inside the MasterClass. I don't know if you're there, but that's something that we could actually go, I could diagram that out for you and help you with that inside the MasterClass during one of our webinars if you're available for that. Will a truckload of irrelevant videos push me over the top? They could. They could. It depends on what you're doing with those videos, right? I've used Hangout Millionaire to rank a stubborn videos that I was trying to rank, like a video that I've live streamed or something, a pre-recorded video that I've manually live streamed through Wirecast or whatever, and I had a hell of a time ranking it. And then I'd set up a Hangout Millionaire campaign and just do a bunch of spam videos that linked to that video, and forced it to actually end up ranking. So I know that it just depends on what you're doing. Yeah, irrelevant videos can work. It's better for YouTube SEO than it is for anything else, but it can work. All right, Lo says, thank you for all this great content, Bradley and team. You are awesome teachers. I will +1 that. Still something I don't get, but overall video rankings SEO is starting to make sense to me. Well, that's great, Lo. My question, I am considering starting a video creation / video marketing business. Based on your experience, what is a good niche I can focus on here in New York or any other place for that matter? Can I really make a great income offering those two complementary services alone? Create video from scratch and rank it? Do you see this as a business with longevity? Yes, for a couple reasons. Number one, because online video especially is becoming more and more the norm. In fact, there was an awesome article, I shared it last week, but it was from Real SEO. Damn, can somebody locate that link for me? You guys remember from last week? Just look on the event page from last week. I think I dropped it at the beginning of the webinar. Anyways, it's from Real SEO. It was talking about the 18 to 40-year-old demographic or something like that, 18 to 42 or something, whatever it was, actually watches more YouTube than that demographic is watching more YouTube than they are the top 10 primetime TV shows. So my point is that more and more it's going with online video and video on demand and that kind of thing. And so right now is a really good time to be offering video services to businesses, because especially once you grasp that, and it's not just about the SEO guys, you should also be totally on top of AdWords for video advertising, because that is a really simple thing to set up and generate revenue from. It's easy and it's very scalable, because once you learn how to set up YouTube ads, you can do that, and it's just a matter of, you take a percentage of ad spend that you would, if you're providing that as a service for clients, you can take a percentage of ad spend. You charge them for a setup fee and in a monthly for whatever to manage their AdWords accounts for them. And it's a great way to do it. And that coupled with SEO, and you can really produce some good results and generate some good income from it as well. All right, and that's what I'm saying. Just ranking videos that's fine. I get that, but you should also be totally getting, learning how to set up ads and do video pay per click, because there is so much traffic on now, people watching online video and stuff, that if you understand, you can get really, really targeted and do really well. I'm doing a lot of testing with YouTube ads right now for a side project, and I'm having a lot of really good results with it. So as far as a particular niche, if you're doing video marketing services, like either, as I've suggested in the past, guys, you could, if you want to stay in just one city, which you said New York, then you might have to be like kind of a general video marketer. In other words, you provide video marketing services to all different types of businesses. However, what I would suggest that you do is possibly become a video marketing expert in one particular industry, and then go wide, expand the area that you service. Instead of just doing New York City, maybe you become a video marketing expert for, I don't know, caterers. I'm just pulling this out of the air, but let's say caterers, catering companies. You become a video marketing expert for catering companies, then you can cover the entire United States or wherever you are, and you will understand that industry. You can have all of your marketing materials, all of your pitch, all of your the language within your sales copy. Everything can all be 100% focused in on caterers. And so you'll be able to scale that, and then you become the big fish in a small pond, because you become an expert catering video marketer, if that makes sense. I prefer that model, guys, over doing like just a general type, catering to all business. And that was no pun intended. But by providing services to all different kinds of businesses in a particular city, you have to learn the language of all the different businesses that you're talking to. You have to understand their pain points, their the keywords. You have to do more keyword research and everything else if you're doing any sort of SEO. All of that is going to be necessary each time you pick up a new client that you're unfamiliar with that industry. It's a whole new learning process. Whereas if you select one industry and become learn their vocabulary, right? You become real familiar with that industry. Then it's simple, because you can just repeat the same process over and over and over again, and you'll be a lot more efficient. Okay? So that's how I would do it, Lo. Personally, I would just find one particular industry that you want that you have a desire to provide services in, like you have an interest in, for example. Make sure that there's money there. Make sure that it's a viable industry for your particular service, and then scale into that one industry. All right. Anybody want to add to that?
No.
The only thing that I would add to that is that he's in a market with what, 20, 30 million people, New York City area, right, and the surrounding area. So he's right there, and if all he has to do, if he can validate the entity, he'll start ranking. That's half the battle right there, because then once he's ranked, he can just go to people and say, well, look, this is what I can do for you. And that's just a done deal. It's like kind of like a done for you business that he's come up with. If he's right there in New York City, if he's not, then it becomes a little bit more difficult to validate the entity. But it's stuff that I will be talking about and covering next week, and it's stuff that we do. Again, I keep going back to this. Is what we do in RYS Academy. It's what we teach. It's what we teach with IFTTT v2.0. If that entity becomes part of the semantic web, and it becomes a reference point rather than just some anomaly, then you can take on whoever you want. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, but talking about that, we already have the webinar link in case you guys want to jump in. Yeah.
Go ahead and post it. Just make sure you put an identifier what the link is. But yeah, go ahead and post it.
Yep. Okay. It's gonna be in the events page.
Okay, you found that our real SEO link, Adam. Thank you. There was also, let me see if I can go find this real quick. Give me a second, guys. There's something because the last part of his question. Excuse me. I'm looking for the last part of his question. He's asking about SEO, video SEO, if that is something that what the learning curve is. And so I'll try to answer your question while I'm trying to locate this post here, but just a moment. Okay, this is what I was looking for. Let me grab the link to this post. Okay, in case any of you guys missed this, I post this in our free group and also in a couple of the Facebook groups. But this is the link to the Real SEO article with my revenue generating method from clients. And the reason I'm sharing this is because this post here, I cut this out of the Hump Day Hangouts. This was in the beginning of last week. It was just where I was talking about this, but there's a link to that Real SEO article that Adam already posted, and what I did to generate, I got 2 clients that I ended up sending proposals to, and they accepted both of them, and I've got 2 more clients, or clients that are existing clients of mine that also have now requested proposals. I have not got them to them yet. But all I did, guys, was I took that article, that Real SEO article, and I sent it to my existing client base. And my point is, and I told them, hey, look, this article from Real SEO, which, by the way, I guess I should kind of open that up just so you guys can see what I'm talking about. YouTube reaches more 18 to 49-year-olds than the top 10 primetime U.S. TV shows. If you want to read the article, and I suggest you do, this is great because this is like perfect validation for you to be able to pitch your video marketing services, whether you're doing video production or video SEO or YouTube advertising, video advertising or video pay-per-click, right? It doesn't matter. This article right here is perfect validation, and all I did was take this article and send this to my existing client base email list with a summary of what it was and why they should be jumping on the YouTube advertising, the AdWords for video bandwagon, while it's still relatively empty. Because right now it's a great opportunity to get in there and get some really cheap clicks and start to learn, start to dial in some ad campaigns. And so all I did was I sent that out, and I got within 24 hours I had 2 responses, and I ended up sending proposals. They were clients that asked for proposal requests or requested a proposal. Excuse me. I sent them, and I landed those 2 clients. I got 2 ad campaign management jobs out of it, which is pretty cool because it's simple to set up. And so the reason I brought this up just now, Lo, is because for number 3, when you said as a newbie to video SEO marketing, I've never done it, what would you say is the learning curve for video SEO to the point where I can confidently offer that as a service? I need to learn this like yesterday. Well, there is certainly a learning curve, but there's a learning curve in anything that you do. And that's why, like with the SEO, it's going to take a little bit of time, first of all, for you to learn how to do it. Number 2 is to build your assets so that you can rank videos, like setting up a YouTube channel properly and start building authority to the channel, having some IFTTT network set up that will age a little bit and become themed well because of consistent posting. There's a lot of things that are going to have to take place for you to have to get to a point where you can confidently offer SEO services because you'll be able to rank pretty much at will whatever you want to rank, right? I mean, that time will come, but it's going to take some effort to get to that point. So the reason I showed you that Real SEO article is there's something else that I would recommend doing, and I do this for all clients now, is when I offer the SEO service, I also sell them on YouTube advertising as well because I can get them immediate results. I practically get immediate results with SEO because I've got a lot of assets available that I can use for that. But I can also do YouTube ads and like literally within 24 hours be driving traffic, even if their videos aren't ranked yet in Google. I can be driving targeted traffic. And so that's why I shared that with you, was because there was an article in there, and then there's that post that I shared, the link to the post. There's a YouTube ads training course called Video Ads Crash Course by Justin Sardi. That's $97. It's totally worth it. The interface inside of AdWords is different than what it was in that training because AdWords has changed their interface, but the concepts are all the same, so really it's no different. And personally, I recommend just picking that course up if you're thinking about doing YouTube advertising. All right. By the way, just so you know, Google is also they're totally redesigning their AdWords interface. And I was reading an article about it yesterday. It was announced by Google. It's over the next few months. They're going to be rolling out the interface changes. So all of what we know inside of AdWords is going to change, which I can only hope is for the better, because I find AdWords incredibly complex, and it takes a long time to get used to it. I'm still getting used to it. So anyways, that was my 2 cents. Alan says, if I'm targeting a local niche and my end goal is to rank in multiple cities for the same keyword or service, what do I do in terms of the 3-pack? Do I choose one city and go with a location there, or can I set it for multiple locations and attempt to rank in the 3-pack for more than one city? Never dealt with 3-packs in multiple cities on the same site, and hoping you can provide me with the best strategy for moving forward. Thanks in advance. All right, Alan. Like, I'm not 100% sure I understand what your question is. I mean, there's a couple ways you can do it. If you want to rank, like, if you're talking about, you know, having a physical location in one city and then wanting that same location listing to rank in maybe the adjacent cities, that's difficult to do. It can happen. Usually it has to deal with how close in proximity the adjacent cities are, or suburbs, or whatever, the neighboring town names, like whatever they are. It usually has to do with how close they are logistically. If it's very close, and it's oftentimes you can rank in those areas as well, but if there's some distance between them, then it's typically harder to rank for those. So that's why I usually will get separate mailboxes for every suburb that I want to rank in. First I will go with the main city and then see where I rank for, you know, after a few months. It depends on how, you know, how fast you're trying to, what kind of results you're trying to get. If you can be patient, what I like to do is rank in the main, you know, whatever city it is that I chose, and then see if I rank in some of the neighboring suburbs over the next few months. And if not, then I can go in and get some additional physical locations for those other areas, like physical mailboxes. Go rent mailboxes, essentially, is what I'm saying, for the other areas. That's typically what I will do. I know that there's some real crazy stuff that you can do with RYS and using Google My Maps, which we talk about inside of RYS Academy, that can get you those kind of results without having to have mailboxes. But that's something that we have to, that's only covered inside of RYS. So hopefully that helps. As far as the site, there's a couple ways you can do it. You can build it all out on one main domain and silo out your site for the different cities that you want to rank in. Right, so you'd have like a different category on your site for each, and a page obviously for each location, or depending on what your you know, what your intentions are, you can build subdomains as the, you know, for each city. That's what I like to do, but I also cover a pretty broad area that way. And if I'm doing everything like for example, if I was going to be building a separate page for every municipality within a particular county, and let's just use, like, I'll use, say, Fairfax County, Virginia. There's like 24 municipalities in that county. I wouldn't build 24 subdomains. I would build one site for Fairfax County, and then I would have, you know, pages, or I would silo out the site for this, or have separate pages for each one of the locations. But if I was going to do a broader site, like a Virginia state site, a site that covers the state of Virginia, then Fairfax might be a subdomain. Does that make sense? And then I might have a different subdomain for another county, or maybe it would be by region at that point. So it just depends on what it is. Like, I don't know how broad or how narrow you're going geographically. So that there's too many variables for me to give you an exact answer. I can tell you that typically what I like to do is build subdomains, city-based subdomains across a broader domain. That's how I like to do it. All right. Hopefully, I don't know if I answered this question or not, because it was a bit vague. So Ryan says, to help rank a service in nearby cities, what do you think about creating a post instead of a city landing page? Include service plus city in the post title, URL, and content. Then after letting the full post syndicate to WordPress, Tumblr, and Blogger, 301 the original post to the home page or the category page. The Web 2 posts would probably end up ranking for those towns as well. I didn't know if the attribution link for the post title would cause over-optimization since it's going through a 301. No, I mean, you can test that, Ryan. You can test that. I haven't tested yet that exact strategy, so I can't give you an answer, but that's what I would suggest doing, is just testing it. It seems sound to me. You could do that, right? You could also set canonicals for that too. In fact, one of our mastermind members, Greg, he did a pretty cool trick he shared with us the other day about how he used a canonical to push his page, and it ended up working really well for him. I can't get into that because it was a mastermind post. We can't share it here, but it was pretty cool, and it was, you know, we've talked about using canonicals very strategically inside the mastermind for months. So. Enrique says, hey guys, love the IFTTT, love the MasterClass even more. I'll +1 that. I have a pretty huge private link blog network that I've been very cautious with. And by very cautious, I typically mean one money site link per site, nothing else. I'm concerned, of course, that I might be wasting the link power of the private sites. My question is, what would you guys do to get better value out of each site? Add some links to different money site 2.0s. Add links to different private link network sites that are not linking to the same money site. Obviously, I want to avoid a footprint, but not at the expense of getting the most benefit out of my PBN or private link network. Enrique, typically what I had done was I would go with my PBN sites, which I'm not even really using anymore. I am using what I'm calling private link network sites, which are just sites that I rebuild for the purpose of one backlink, and that's it. And that's fine for me because it's actually more economical that way, because there's not, the labor is less. In other words, building a PBN, I would build out basically a blog. I would try to make it look as much like a real blog as possible. So it was a lot of setup, and then it was also, I put an IFTTT network around it. And I would post content to my PBN sites regularly. I have curators that do that. That's their job, is to post on the PBN sites, and I would give them so that the sites would be updated with content regularly, and they would link to multiple sites because I would keep my PBN sites broad enough within a particular general category. For example, home services or home improvement style blogs, so that I could link to tree services and landscapers and plumbers and everything else, if that makes sense. So I would get a lot of additional posts out of a PBN, but it was also a lot of work, and I had was paying curators to post on them. Now what I do is just rebuild the aged the expired domains, rebuild the content from the drop domain, and I just put in one link to the site that I want to link to, and I'm done. And it's a hell of a lot faster. I'm only getting one link per domain now, but it's not all the setup work and all the labor expense and having the ongoing curating costs and everything else. So personally, that's what I'm doing. You asked me what I'm doing. Like, I'm not doing any more blog sites. I haven't been for a while. But if I was going to continue to do that, then I would do what I just mentioned to you, and that would be add some network sites around my PBNs, and then I would start posting to them regularly with similarly themed content, right? And if you don't have things that you like, what I would do is if you don't have, if you're only using the network to link to a handful of sites, then you could link to the IFTTT network sites, things like that. Just find different random things that you could link to that eventually funnel back to your money site. Try to do it without leaving a footprint, though, like you mentioned.
Yeah, just to add to what you were saying, Bradley, I've seen great results when you have like an established website and you want to push a website for the the last 10 spots or 7 spots or whatever, to power up your tier 1 with PBNs or PLNs, because most of your sites will have like IFTTT backlinks, they will have other backlinks that you have probably created, guest posts, whatever. When you're linking to those posts, and usually you're not linking, for example, I have a client that has guest posts on major publications, and I'm linking to those posts, and they are authority posts. They are not linking back to a website that has like, I don't know, maybe 30 domain authority or 30 trust flow, whatever. They are linking back to like Forbes.com or WashingtonPost.com, those kind of websites, which are also considered authority links. So I'm like killing 2 stones with one bird. I'm linking out to authority websites, and I'm also powering my clients tier 1. You can do the same if you're linking, for example, to an internal post from your IFTTT from a WordPress.com site. that has been syndicating out from your blog. That way, I found that you're powering up your IFTTT or your tier 1 links, and it works really, really well.
Yeah, and that, I mean, and that what you just said is true. What you can do, Enrique, is go do a backlink analysis on the money sites that you're linking to, and then find some tier 1 links that are going to those money sites that are high quality links, pages or whatever, and then you could start building links to those. They don't have to be your own properties. It doesn't matter. If there's a link on that page to your money site, why not build links to that page? And you could use your PBN for that. So you could power up links on other sites, is my point, that are pointing eventually, ultimately, to your money site. All right, we've got to wrap it up. We got about 4 more minutes, so I'm going to run through these next couple questions, and then we're going to wrap it up, guys. Chris says, hi, my sites have good content with clean backlinks. I structured my sites with a root domain and 3 subdomains, and I have some questions on linking. I linked from the root to the subdomain home pages, okay, but I have not linked from the subs back to the root in case one subdomain ever catches a penalty. Am I preventing the root from building authority, or is this a good practice? No, that's fine, Chris. That's fine, because you specifically said it, is this for building authority? If you're talking about domain authority, no, it doesn't matter. You don't have to have a link, because your domain authority is going to be, it's a site-wide metric, so it's a domain-wide metric. It affects all subdomains, all subdirectories, all pages and posts. So it's not going to make any difference. As far as passing like trust and topical relevancy from your subs to your root, yeah, you could link up to your root if you have a reason for doing so, but typically when I'm building out sites on subdomains, I'm ranking each subdomain as a standalone. It's not for the benefit of the root. It's just because it's a subdomain site, and so I typically don't need to link up to the root. But again, it just depends on what your goal is. So, are you preventing authority from building? No, you're not. Topical relevancy, potentially, yes, but again, I don't know why. Unless you're using subdomains to rank the root, you wouldn't need to do that anyways. On one subdomain, I have a silo structure with 2 complex silos. Should I link from the 2 silo pages back to the home page, or will this bleed the silos? Thank you. No, you can. What that does is that pushes relevancy from your keyword sets from your silos to the home page. So that's entirely up to you. You can link back to the home page. It's not necessary, though, but you can. It's not going to hurt anything if you do. It will actually sometimes force your home page to show for the top level silo page instead. So like if somebody was searching for that particular keyword that was a top level silo, instead of that page showing in the search results, sometimes your home page will show, because you're pushing the relevancy all the way to the home page through that internal link. So it's up to you. You can also do that with canonicals. That's what we were talking about earlier with Greg, one of our students. He did something very similar to that using the canonicals, and you can do the same thing. Okay. We got 2 more minutes, guys. So Brian says, making local map points on Google Maps for a business is their surrounding areas in their surrounding areas they service, and then embed them onto Web 2.0s, or adding backlinks help get into the snack pack for multiple surrounding local areas. Just wondering if you have any done testing with this. No, I have not done that. I don't know if Marco's done that. That's not something I have tried yet. I know we've done some pretty ninja stuff with my maps, but we can't really share that here, though.
Yeah, it's not something that I'm going to get into on Hump Day Hangouts. He's welcome to come to RYS Academy, where we get into all sorts of nasty stuff with Google Maps and everything that you can do, how to connect them, how to add relevancy, how to push to surrounding areas. Anything and everything that you can do with a map is inside RYS Academy.
Yeah. All right, we've got to wrap it up. One thing, Michael, you said, I use CallFire for calls, but would also like to track emails from email opt-in forms. What can we use to have an email come to us as well as directly go to the client? Michael, put a comma and then your email address in the field that it sends to. I don't know which email opt-in form you're using, Michael, but most of them where the text field is that you enter the email that you want for any opt-in form submission to be sent to, if you just put a comma, you can add another email address or as many email addresses as you want, and it will send to all the email addresses in that field. That's how most forms work. I don't know about which one you're using specifically,
Yeah, that's like call or contact form 7. I mean, everything.
Most of them are like
Basics,
that. Yeah. You just put a comma and add the next email address, and it will send to 2 or 3 or however many you want. Nate Gilbert, you sent me another email again with a question when you should have posted it here. But I did read your question in the email. Unfortunately, I'm not going to respond via email because you're supposed to be posting your questions in Hump Day Hangouts. And as far as the Google Trends dashboard, I'm not quite sure what you were asking about in your email because Google Trends still works just the same as I had shared in the training. He said that he couldn't niche down into areas. I know we're wrapping up, Adam. Just give me 1 second. So, for example, if I look for tree service, click search. Right here, this drop down worldwide, I can go to United States, and he said that he couldn't, for some reason, couldn't drill down to city level, but I'll go to Virginia, and I don't know, let's go to Washington, D.C., for example. There. Now I'm all the way down to city level. So I'm not sure what you were asking about, Nate, in the email, but once again, please post your questions on Hump Day Hangouts events pages, because otherwise they will get ignored. Okay. All right, everybody. We are out of time. That was a good session. We hope everybody got a lot of information out of that. We will see. We don't have any other webinars this week, right?
No, not this week.
Okay. But next week we got a few. Okay. Well, thanks for everybody being here. Thanks, guys.
Thanks.
Bye,
Bye-bye.
everyone.
Bye.